me see. Should be live pretty soon. So hello, I think we're live. So hi everybody.
Hello.
We're very happy to be here. Our guest with Josh Starmer. Our guest is Miguel Otero Pedido from the Neural Maze. Of course, you have your ukulele, Josh.
Yeah, I got my ukulele. So you guys ready for a little song?
Yes, we are.
Let's go.
We're a little out of tune today. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty certain we're live. Yep.
We are live. Okay,
Yep.
cool. I thought you were gonna sing a song.
Here goes. Ready? Lewis
Okay.
and me. We're hanging out today with a good friend Miguel. He's gonna tell us all about agent stuff. Hooray! Hooray!
Yay! Very happy to have you here, Miguel.
Yep.
So Miguel is the creator of the Neural Maze. It's an amazing Substack. You should definitely check it out.
Yes.
There's a Substack with a regular post that he does with a lot of like new stuff in AI. And there's also the channel. If you're not subscribed, you should definitely subscribe to the Neural Maze. It's an amazing YouTube channel. So we met Miguel in India recently.
Yes.
And I gave a great talk, and we were all the data hack organized by analytics video.
Yes.
And then we said we have to have you on our chat. So welcome, Miguel.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Bienvenido. Speak Spanish too. Yeah, we speak a lot of Spanish.
Yeah, we need to switch right to Spanish from time to time.
Just half. Yeah. Welcome, Miguel.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. It's a real pleasure to be here with you.
Great.
So Miguel, where are you? Where are you?
Right now, I'm based in Spain, in the south region of Spain. It's called Andalusia. Maybe you know some cities.
Love it.
Yeah, like Sevilla, Malaga. I'm not in any of those. I'm in a city called Almeria, which is even unknown for some people in Spain, but it's a very beautiful city.
Okay.
It's funny because I'm not from here. I'm from the opposite side of Spain. I'm from the north, so I'm used to rainy days, cold, etc. And here I have really hot days and not a single drop of water, so no rain here. So it's a lot of change, but I love this region.
Awesome.
Oh,
awesome.
I love it. Yeah, south of Spain. That's the place
South
to
of
be.
Spain.
The question is, why are we not in the south of Spain?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the question.
You're invited. You're invited.
Definitely. So we have a fair amount of people here online asking us questions. Actually, before we start the questions, I also want to give a shout out to Josh, who came up with this amazing book called Norm Squatch Make a New Friend.
Aww.
And the new friend is the Gamma Monster.
That's right.
Who looks very serious.
He's a serious guy.
He's not sad, right? He's just serious.
He's just serious, and he's
right. Okay.
And he's so Norman Squatch. When they first meet the Gamma Monster, they're kind of scared of the Gamma Monster because the Gamma Monster leaves a trail of slime wherever it goes. Which is kind of gross. Yeah. And the Gamma Monster also burps a lot, and that also Norm thinks that's gross. But they learn to love the Gamma Monster by the end of the book, and they solve a problem. So this is just so you know, this is a book. Not to ramble too much about my own book, but because the whole point of today is to talk about Miguel. But this is a book that a lot of people who read my books say their kids grab the book and run away with it, and I was like, well, I need to make a book just for kids, and so that's what this book is. Is it's a book just for kids. So if you want to read my ML book or my neural networks and AI book, you can do that. And when your kid comes running for it, you throw them this one instead, and it's a decoy. And they'll take it, and they'll get to have a good time with some of my monsters. And nice. And it also serves as a thing to try to introduce basic statistic concepts to children at a young age. So, anyways,
I love
that's
it.
my thing.
Love it.
It can also work for children when the dad's gonna come get your Gamma Monster book. They just throw it.
I know exactly.
Works in both
That's right.
directions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, very excited to read
Yeah.
it. Yeah, the Gamma Monster.
Thanks
I
for
guess
sharing
it
that,
has
Louis.
to leave a trail, right? Because the Gamma distribution, it kind of
Exactly.
goes forever, right? Okay, so
It does. Yeah.
okay, love
Yeah.
it. Very excited to
Yeah.
read it.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting messages of here of people saying hi.
Yeah.
Oh, someone says 3 stars from different galaxies. Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, it's
Love
beautiful.
yeah. So, we can ask some questions. We have some online,
Yeah.
but I think why don't we start, Josh? Maybe.
Yeah. So we have Miguel, and you have a Substack letter, the Neural Maze. I was wondering if you could tell us sort of like what the Neural Maze covers, what topics you focus on, and if you could give us an introduction as to where the name Neural Maze came from. I'm dying to know.
Me too.
Yeah. So about the topics that it covered. So my main focus with the neural maze since I started was to teach AI, but with a very hands-on and production-ready approach. So I just
Okay.
wanted to teach people how to think of AI not as single models, but as systems that you can deploy and solve real-world use cases. So all of my articles or all the projects that I show in this newsletter are going to be revolving around this topic: how to build AI that actually works.
Can
And
you
about
give us? Oh,
yeah.
hold on. I sorry to interrupt. I was going to want. Can you give us some examples of like in your latest newsletter? Are there specific examples you can give us that you
Yeah.
cover? Yeah.
Yeah, for example, I can give
Yeah.
you an example of today's article
Yeah.
because it was authored. It was a collaboration with someone that you guys know, Alessandro Romano. Who we
Aw,
also met
yeah.
We'll have to have here
in
soon.
Exactly.
India,
Yeah.
and we were collaborating, and he devised a system to prepare for interviews, job interviews.
Oh,
So it was
okay.
a multi-agentic system that prepares you, that asks you questions about different job interviews. That's one of the projects that we have covered. And one of my top projects in the Neural Maze was an educational platform to teach philosophy in high schools. So what I was building was a game simulation
Okay.
in which I had a lot of NPCs, like non-playable characters, and each one of these NPCs was a philosopher
Okay.
with its own memories, way of talking, connected to vector databases with all the books, all the biography of the different philosophers, and you were like a tiny playable character that could move around this village with Pokemon vibes. It was really similar to a Pokemon village.
Okay.
And you were able to go around the village and start talking to the different philosophers. And this is something that many high schools here in Spain are really interested in. So I'm seeing
awesome. Yeah.
I'm seeing how to put it in some high schools, even universities. It will be really cool. Really cool.
That sounds so cool. Yeah. Awesome. I love it.
Amazing.
Now can we
Love
talk
it.
about
The tricky
neural
question,
maze?
the neural maze. So, I mean, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure how the name arises in my brain, but the thing is that when I started, I come from physics, so I have no computer science background. And when I started trying to dive into AI and trying to get a job in this field, I experienced an overwhelming feeling of, oh my God, there are so many frameworks, names, libraries, patterns that I don't know where to start. It felt like a labyrinth, like a maze. So I was like, okay,
Oh.
if I could build a newsletter to help the younger Miguel get into this field, what would be the name?
Okay.
And I was like, okay, it could be something like the Labyrinth Solver or something like that, but it was really weird. So then I thought, okay, I really like, I'm going to talk about AI, I'm going to talk about neural networks, etc. So neural felt like interesting. And also maze sounded like cool. The tricky part is that I named my newsletter the Neural Maze. So it's like I am the labyrinth. So that's a bit weird. But
Yeah.
You're the Minotaur. You're the Minotaur.
I'm the
of
Minotaur.
labyrinth.
Yeah, I need
It's
to
like,
I need to refine the metaphor a little bit. But yeah, that was more or less the origin. I was also, as I was telling you guys before, but that time I was really obsessed with the Westworld TV series,
Okay.
and in there they
Mhm.
were talking about the maze and solving the maze and getting to the maze. So that name stuck in my brain. So I think that was 30% of the reason why I chose the maze word.
Okay.
But yeah, more or less that was the origin,
I love
the
it.
origin of the naming.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. And the logo is pretty cool too.
Thanks.
Yeah.
How often
Love
do
it.
you publish?
So I publish every week on
Oh,
Wednesday.
dang.
And right now, I'm also doing a bi-weekly
Okay.
post.
Okay.
One of them is more like casual, like 5 minutes read.
Yeah.
And the second article is a really deep dive for
Okay.
real builders, like 20 minutes with videos and a lot of deep dives, code snippets, link
Yeah.
to GitHub repositories that you can clone and
Oh,
do
it's
it at
fantastic.
your own pace. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's got everything.
Love it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
more or less. Yeah, try to.
so people don't just read about the ideas and the things you're doing. They could actually clone them and
That's
run
it.
them themselves and then modify them for their own needs or whatever. That's
That's it.
fantastic. That's
That's
amazing.
it. Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay, I'm signing up.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Talk me into
definitely, definitely.
it.
And it's also hands-on.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
something that I find very interesting, which is like you can go and play with the character. You
Yeah.
can play with this philosophy
Yeah,
game, by the
absolutely.
way, or is this
Absolutely. You
something?
can
What's the
clone
name of it? What's the
Philo
name of the
agents.
philosophy one?
Philo agents.
Philo agents.
Philo
Love
agents.
it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
something I did with another builder of this community, Paul Justin. I sent him
Okay.
a hello from here, and we did it in collaboration. And yeah, the project you can find it really easily in my GitHub organization, and it is called Philo Agents. And we have
Mhm.
YouTube videos, deep dive articles, and all of that.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Love it. There's a lot of cool messages here too. Hello, you guys are the reason some of us were inspired
know.
to get into the science. Bam. Thank you, Vinod.
I know,
And
it's
there's the
awesome.
beginning of a joke. Two mathematicians and one physicist walk into a YouTube live. We gotta finish that joke.
Yeah.
Josh is a geneticist, statistician, a lot of things. So we got like 5 people there. Yeah, let's try to. Okay, so challenge for the people in the live. Try to help us finish this
Yeah,
joke.
exactly.
In a way that makes us look good. That's a bonus, right? Like,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Yeah. I mean, I have questions as well. I mean, we see you have questions from the audience,
Yeah.
but this is my selfish way to get to ask you a lot of questions, Miguel.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
so for example, I mean, agents is a thing that you're very much into. You know, like you're very much quite an expert in agents. So I have a lot of questions. I have this one that kind of drives me crazy. When I see agents, right, I just see a workflow, right? I just see like an object-oriented workflow, which is the first thing I learned in computer science when they said, okay, just don't write a big program, make an object here and an object here and a class and stuff like that. And when I saw agents, I thought that's very similar, right? Except for with API calls, but I'm sure it's not the same, right? And what makes it different? Like,
yeah, that's
if you can help us with that.
a very good question. So I think we should differentiate between like 3 concepts. First one is like these deterministic workflows that you're talking about, Luis, where you have different components, different steps with a deterministic output, something you could achieve, for example, with Apache Airflow. You just define the different steps on your DAG, and you just wait for everything to be running sequentially. Okay, so that's like the traditional deterministic workflow. Then we have something that I think is more tricky, because many people call agents something that properly is an LLM workflow, which is an intermediate step between the deterministic workflow and the agentic and the agent. So LLM workflow is a set of steps that you could achieve with frameworks like Llama Index or LangChain, etc. A set of steps, and some of these steps have a non-deterministic output, because some of these steps are based on LLMs. All right, so you could have like multiple types of LLM workflows, from very simple and sequential workflows, like, okay, let's first of all receive the input, generate a response, and parse the response and as a JSON or something like that as a final step, and just return the output. But then you have another evolution of this, which is like the agent. An agent the term agent has to be accompanied by autonomous, like autonomy. And when we are talking about agents, we are talking about a workflow, let's put it that way, but in which the workflow or the agent is able to define the different steps that it's going to take. So we are not having like multiple steps and an LLM API call in between. We are having something that is able to decide which steps to take. That is able to define the precise workflow and run through it. And also, that's something very different, for example, from deterministic workflows. We are able to include loops into the system. When we are talking about deterministic workflows, like Apache Airflow allows you to do, we are talking about DAGs, like directed acyclic graphs. You can have any kind of loops in these kind of systems. With agents, you are able to have these kind of loops, which are cool.
If I have a loop, in a object-oriented programming, I messed up.
That's it.
Is that what you're saying?
That's it. Yeah.
But if I have a loop in an agent, it makes sense.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. In fact, many of the reasoning before reasoning LLMs like arrows and all of this stuff, one of the most important patterns for agents architectures was the React pattern, which is just adding a loop into your API calls, into your LLM calls. And that's basically it. That's the way that you introduce this reasoning in your workflow.
Okay, so you use reasoning and you use a loop that sort of fixes itself if it needs to, right? And I guess you don't need to put all the in a workflow. I would need to put all the potential errors that could happen. Here, I could let it figure out.
Let it figure out.
Autonomy, basically.
Yeah,
that's it.
From automation to autonomy, basically.
That's a very good sentence. Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
cool. So let's say I have. The way I like to say it, let's say I have a fully object-oriented. I don't know how wide is my screen. Here's fully object-oriented. I also don't know if this is right or this is left. But and here I have a bunch of humans in a team that can come up with new solutions or hire someone new or just have full, like they follow rules. But so if this is the spectrum, where would you put agents? You know what I mean? Like this is full automation and this is full autonomy. Where would you put an agent?
So I would put it probably like the end goal agent we want to achieve, like the fully autonomous agent, would be something like fully autonomous. So I don't know if it's right.
So basically like humans.
Basically like humans.
Yeah. So this.
That's it. So yeah, I would say that's the end goal of agents. Having said that, right now there is nothing like that in the ecosystem and in the field. I mean, it's like an ideal, like a platonic form that we are trying to achieve. But right now, I wouldn't I wouldn't trust someone who's saying to have built like a fully 100% autonomous agent.
Okay. So the point is to move in that direction towards the group of humans that can just kind of solve anything that's not in the rules, right? Like if a fire catches, you just grab a bucket of water. Like that's not in the rules, right? Like
that's not in the rules.
And things like decisions, like for example, let's say you want to add a new agent versus add a new function in an agent. How do you make that decision?
Adding a complete new agent?
Like let's say I have a new function to do. Do I? Because when I started, I'm gonna overuse the word building agents, but I make some small workflows and stuff like that. And I was advised, don't start putting a new agent for everything, because I was just like a football team, then I was told make some new functions on existing agents. And then I was wondering if there's a rule of thumb or something you use for that.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So you are talking of a very good topic, and that's something that the community is already talking about it. The difference between one agent with multiple tools and a multi-agent system where we have smaller agents but with fewer tools. So there is no crystal clear rule of thumb to decide when to go for fully multi-agentic systems or one agent with multiple tools. I would say that up until 10 tools, for example, with a decent LLM, is something that you could achieve pretty easily. I mean, I've built projects with one single agent with 5 to 10 tools. Of course, you need to put a lot of attention into defining really well what these tools are going to achieve, like the scope of the tool, the expected input, expected output, etc. But yeah, I would say 10 tools, maybe 20 is too many tools for an agent. In that case, you should probably start like decoupling your single agent into
Okay.
multiple agents, each one with its specific role, and like a smaller subset of tools. So yeah.
Okay. Once you're overworking an agent with like 20 tools, you just hire a new one. And is there is there like too many agents you could have? Like, I mean, is there like the other end of the spectrum? Like, what would be a stupid number of agents that if I have that many, you'd be like, come on, Luis, you just gotta.
I mean, I haven't seen like a top maximum of agents that you could put into a crew, for example, into a multi-agent system. But I mean, I would go with something similar to the number of tools. You have to understand as well that each different agent is going to generate a different API call, probably to different models. So that's something that you're putting into the latency of your system. So if you have 100 different agents, what is going to happen is that probably you'll have 100 different API calls, and that's going to go like really, really slow for the user.
Okay, so API calls are API calls are a bit of a bottleneck.
Yeah, that's it. For me, if I mean, for me, like the optimal way of detecting how many agents you need, if you need to go with a single agent approach or a multi-agent approach, if you need to add more tools or less tools, etc., is always to add an evaluation layer, an observability layer, just testing the different approaches and deciding which one to choose. Something pretty similar to what we did with traditional machine learning models like random forest, XGBoost, etc. When we are fine-tuning these models, well, not fine-tuning, running hyperparameter tuning to decide, okay, I need this number of trees inside the XGBoost. I need this parameter to be exactly this point, etc. Just running multiple experiments and just checking the one that works better for your use case. So yeah, that's
good. So basically, what you would have done before with AI, you do with agents. And you can even have evaluating agents. Like, could you have LLMs evaluating itself?
Absolutely.
Like
LLM as judges. Yeah, that's something really trendy right now. Yeah, having an LLM as a judge and just evaluating things subjective, like is this something that is going to damage, for example, the emotions of your users, stuff like that, that it's not easy to translate into equations, like math equations. So yeah, you have like judges that are able to detect more or less.
Okay.
Along these lines, out of curiosity, I know you just wrote about this in your newsletter with this village full of philosophers, but I'm just curious, how did you make that work? Like, you've got all these different non-playable characters that are representing different philosophers. Can you give us some details? And I mean, I don't want it to be too many spoilers, but I am very curious as to how you made that work.
Me too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So each one of the philosophers has specified like system prompt that defines more or less how the philosopher should talk, how the philosopher like the kind of topics that it should address. For example, Socrates is going to ask you about the ethics of AI, if it like gets consciousness and stuff like that. Alan Turing is also in there, and it's going to ask you about the Turing test, the Turing machine, etc. So we had like overall guardrails of what the philosopher could do, but the real information came from vector databases. So we had an agentic RAG that, by the way, I saw a comment asking for that. Agentic RAG is an agentic design pattern, let's put it that way, where the agent decides when to go to like knowledge databases to fetch relevant information about a specific topic. In this case, what we did was to download all the articles from Wikipedia, from Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, etc., about each one of the philosophers, transform all of these articles into embeddings, and store them into vector databases. And then when you are talking with any of the philosophers, the agent that is running under the hood is going to decide, okay, Miguel is asking me about, I don't know, the Republic. I'm Plato, and he's asking me about the Republic. So I'm just going to go to the database to fetch relevant information about the database to give Miguel a grounded response on this. So that's how it works.
And you would have a router that says Republic is Plato, so go to Plato,
That's
and
it.
then you can fit all the works of Plato there.
That's it. That's
For
it.
it to okay.
Yeah, it's
That's how
pretty
it works.
amazing.
Now I know what I'm doing. Now I know what I'm doing when we finish
know
this call.
exactly, right?
I'm gonna start,
Yeah.
Hi Plato, tell me. Oh, I love it. Oh my God, we have so many great questions. I'm gonna go to one that I see two people having, so I'm gonna read them. As a non-academic, how much deep I need to learn? Okay, well this is more general, but let's answer the general one later and focus on agents. Like, how do you get into agents? And this other one by Wakar is how do I start on agents as a beginning? So my I'm gonna reword this. When people ask me about LLMs, I just say go into ChatGPT or your favorite one, start prompting it, and soon you'll start figuring out its
Yeah.
strengths and weaknesses. So it's the first time that I can actually tell people not go to write a program, but go play with this thing, which is to me a fascinating. Because been AI for like 10 years. 10 years ago, you couldn't be like, go play with it. Open a Jupyter notebook, and if that's a huge roadblock for people who are not technical. So if there's a non-technical person, and also for a technical, you can answer the question. How do you get into agents? What's the sort of friendliest way to get into all of this, into playing with all of these agents?
Yeah. So that's also a question that I get a lot. So for me, contrary to what many would say, I wouldn't go with agentic frameworks. I wouldn't get into like trendy things like LangChain, Llama Index, CrewAI, etc. What I would do is to try to implement from scratch in a very simplistic way what is happening under the hood. And that's something that you guys do really well, like understanding like the intuition behind. And for example, I have one project, the first project that I did for the neural maze, that was building the four design patterns from agents from scratch, like just starting with single API calls to OpenAI or to whatever LLM you want, and then trying to understand, okay, what is a tool? Is this tool concept really complex? Is it a quantum field theory, or is it something
Mhm.
that I can understand really easily and just put into code in a few lines of code? And
Uh-huh.
it was the second one. It was like
Right.
really simple. Yeah, hooray! Yeah, it will be
Thank
cool.
God. I
Like,
was crossing my fingers.
yeah,
No
that's it.
quantum field theory, thank you.
And that's what I
Nothing
did. I
wrong with it.
mean, you have the project also available. It's called like agentic patterns from scratch, and that's what I would do, to be honest. Whenever I try to understand how something works, I always try to build like a very simplistic
Mhm.
approach,
Yeah.
but from scratch, like starting with LLM calls and trying to understand each one of the concepts with my own like code.
Okay, but you would open you would open a collab, or and you would use some framework, or would
Yeah,
you just kind of use your own? Okay.
I would open a collab probably and just start like starting with single API calls to ChatGPT, like,
Start a
okay,
simple API call asking a question to
asking a
ChatGPT, and you go,
question,
okay, well,
understanding.
now I want it to do this.
Yeah, imagine now I want a reflection, which is just a loop in which the response of the first LLM call is going to be used as the input for the next LLM call. So it's just a for loop
Okay. So
with
it's
two
just
different LLMs calling each other and just keep increasing the complexity.
okay. So you start with one LLM. The basic thing is prompt ChatGPT.
Yeah.
The next thing is have two LLMs and figure out how to make them work with each other.
That's
Maybe
it.
this one checks this one, and then you start adding more stuff, and
More
kind of like
stuff.
if you
Yeah.
start yeah, okay, just you
Yeah,
start adding friends and
and
making
then
them talk.
just
Okay.
the audience will see that everything starts like arising in a very natural way. Like, okay, now that I have these LLMs talking to each other, it would be cool for the LLM to know, for example, what's the temperature in San Francisco by calling an API.
It's
How can I
called
make an
learn
LLM?
an LLM.
Yeah, to use a Python function, for example. It's called. And
It's
and
called
yeah, and,
yeah, I can tell you. Okay, interesting. Yeah,
and that's it.
love it. Okay, perfect. So yeah, just start basic. Okay. I'm just gonna keep putting questions. Reinforcement learning takes place in this agent world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now with reinforcement learning, I mean, I think
Party.
all the research is going through this way, and I think that also all the enterprise projects are also pivoting to this way. I see many projects right now
Right.
revolving around agents. I'm not talking about reasoning
Okay.
LLMs, for example, which 100% are using this kind of techniques.
Yeah.
I'm talking about even ways like playgrounds for agents, which are also using reinforcement learning techniques like the DeepSeek one, using the same, but
Hmm.
for creating like virtual environments in which the agent is able to interact with a simulated world, so that you can modify, you can fine tune or align the
Yeah.
LLM that is running behind the agent to really perform
Okay.
optimally on your use case.
Right. Right. Yeah. I guess even the word lends itself to it. Agents, right?
Yeah,
Like that calls reinforcement learning. Like when you have
absolutely.
things playing around, playing games and stuff like that, and players, like
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
definitely have reinforcement learning. So okay, that's good. I'm glad. Yeah. 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 There's this question: enterprise world. Give me some example of agents where it can be leveraged.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are some?
Absolutely. So I would say, for example, the first one that I have two that I think are really, really interesting. So the first one is sort of an agentic RAG approach. When you are in the enterprise, and that's something that I'm seeing right now, for example, at Zapier, my actual company,
Up here? Okay.
these companies, big companies, have a lot of documentation and documentation from multiple sources scattered all around the way. And when you are onboarding, when you are new to the company and you don't know where to look for it, using agents in conjunction with retrieval augmented generation with RAG is a very, very powerful tool, because you could
Hmm.
simply ask the agent, okay, can you show me how to log into Databricks, for example? And it will fetch all the relevant information, all the relevant articles, like internal articles, to achieve your goal. And that's something that you
Hmm.
could even improve, not just using RAG, but Graph RAG, which is really similar, but instead of
That's
reading
right.
documents, reading graph structures from graph databases. And that's interesting because with Graph RAG, you're able to really design semantics in your database. But yeah, that's probably for another stream.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and our next
Yeah,
stream is how to add the semantics in. Okay, that sounds very interesting. Graph RAG. I hadn't heard of it. I
yeah,
guess
Graph
RAG is
RAG.
the original, right? Like Graph is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
OG
Yeah.
yeah.
of
The
agents,
OG.
right?
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Uh, yeah. So somebody's asking what framework is suitable for each of these use cases, the
So
agentic workflow and autonomous agents.
So I would say that I mean my favorite framework is LangGraph, because it provides
LangGraph.
me with a lot of flexibilities, like the evolution of LangChain, and it provides a lot of flexibility. And when I try to build something from scratch, I typically go with LangGraph. Another framework that I like when I try to build like an initial POC or some MVP, etc., is Crew AI, because it's really easy to
Crew AI.
use. Yeah,
Pretty
Crew
good too.
AI, really easy to use, and you can test really, really easily that everything works.
Okay. Yeah, I saw a course on that and deep learning AI. It was interesting.
Yeah,
Crew AI.
that's a cool
Yeah.
one.
Cool. There's a question here. Does the agent for agentic RAG, does the agent always look in the vector database for every query and based on threshold retrieves relevant info? I think you understand this question better
Yeah,
than
yeah,
me.
yeah. I understand it. It's a very specific question. So no, the answer is no. It doesn't always look in vector database. That's the cool thing about the agentic RAG, is that the agent is going to decide when to look into the vector database. In traditional RAG, if you just create a traditional RAG approach, all the queries will be matched to the vector database and just fetch some relevant info from it, even if it's not necessary. In agentic RAG, the agent is going to prevent you going to the vector database with every query. So
Okay, so it's just gonna act like a buffer,
that's
right?
it, like a
Like you don't
router.
need
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
like a router. Like yeah, some things you don't need to do the expensive call. Some
that's
things I'm
it.
just gonna handle here by myself. Okay,
Yeah.
basically like a triaging kind of.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, great. Can you mention parameters based on which you select the best model? What is parameter validation on RAG? Like, what is parameter fine tuning on RAGs?
So
Like,
typically,
on agents. Sorry, on agents.
yeah, but I think it's more related to. I mean, agents at the end of the day had you could be evaluating multiple parameters because there are multiple use cases. I can tell you about the parameters that we use for the agentic RAG Philo agents, because it was basically an agentic RAG application.
Yeah.
And I mean, you are going to treat this as a retrieval system. So you are going with recall, with precision, etc. So those are basically the same as in traditional retrieval methods. And then since you are generating content that sometimes you are not what you expected, you also need to add some ways to prevent like hallucinations, content moderation, etc. And for those specific metrics, you need to include some LLMs to act as judges in the estimation.
Okay.
But that's something that I don't implement myself. There are amazing tools out there.
There's benchmarks.
That's it, that you can use for your use cases.
This segues to a question, how validation of AI agents results taking place, and I've always found it, when AI was a thing a while ago that was predictive, it was very easy because you could easily just say it made 10 mistakes out of 100. It was like grading a multiple choice exam, but now I feel like AI is like grading an essay.
Absolutely.
So I think if you mentioned that, there's two things, right? There's the things that you can do, precision or recall, like did you find the answer correctly here? And the other one is an LLM saying, I think you had a 70% good answer. Is that it, or is there more? Like, would it be heuristics and LLMs, or would there be more?
Stuff? That's a very good question. So in the projects that I've built, and that's something that I typically like suggest to people who are trying to build agents for production, I go with like an offline evaluation and online monitoring or evaluation. You could call it the same. So for offline, imagine you have built a RAG application, you are encoding a lot of different articles inside a vector database, and you want to test how well your system works when retrieving this information. So in this case, what I would do probably is to create a data set, an evaluation data set, pretty similar to what we did with traditional ML. I mean, you just create an evaluation data set out of these articles, and you just test your agent towards this evaluation data set. And you just compute like offline estimation of how good your agentic RAG, your agent system behaves. But then you have the online version of all of this. And for that, I will be very cautious about hallucination, about moderation, etc. Because when you are online and you're impacting users, you need to be very careful about all of this. So I would go with an offline phase and an online phase, and depending on which one of them I'm treating, I would probably put more effort into different metrics.
Right. And also depending on the use case, right? If you have a medical agent, you got to be super careful. If you have something else. Yeah. Okay, cool. What about code generation? Somebody's asking, Haj asking about code generation. What's agents in, how are agents doing that in there?
I mean, I think they're pretty integrated, to be honest, with code generation. I'm a Cursor user, for example. And and agents, I mean, it's an agent basically. So I would say that code is something that works pretty well with LLMs, with agents, etc. And I mean, I would say that this is something that is going to be used more and more and more in years to come. So
Okay, excellent. You have a fan here, Nico says, four projects and Neil worked like a charm for me. Josh, you were saying?
I have like a philosophical question. That it may be a little like doom and gloom, but I have a friend who uses coding agents all the time, and one of the things he uses them for is, for example, the company he's working at wanted to implement something in Rust, and my friend does not know Rust, and they were thinking of hiring a Rust programmer, like someone who's specifically good at Rust. But instead,
I'm a Rusty programmer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You think of just like some really old, decrepit programmer. But what they did is instead they just like kind of wrote the code in Python and had Python like translate, had it get translated into Rust, and then they could kind of go through and they could do unit tests on the Rust code to make sure it's working. But without really knowing Rust, he ended up implementing this whole thing, and it makes me wonder. Like, it used to be one fear I had when I was younger was, because there's always new stuff coming along. And sooner or later, I won't be the one learning the new stuff. It'll be someone younger than me learning the new stuff, and they're going to come along, and they're not going to need me anymore. But with like agents, in a way, I can still be that young person, but on the same time, like the flip side is maybe there could be less opportunities for young people trying to break into the field. So I was just
That's
wondering if you guys
the
had any
point.
thoughts on that.
It's a very good point. A very good point. I mean, I think that on the one hand, I think it's really cool in a sense, because for me, what is really interesting and what I love about this field is not about learning specific programming languages, because some people treat programming languages as religions,
Yeah.
and for me, they are just tools. So I think that the mindset that you apply to Rust, Go, Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, whatever,
Yeah.
is of course they are different. They are dynamic, static, etc. But I mean, the programming mindset that you're putting into that, it's more or less the same. So it's really cool that you are able to translate this knowledge, this mindset, into different programming languages. What I'm not so sure is if LLMs right now are able to compete with, for example, proficient Rust engineer who's able to run or to implement really custom implementations or optimizations of the code.
Yeah.
The ones that make your application like scale to 100 users or to 1 million. So yeah, that's something that I'm not sure. And about your reflection, which I think is really, really cool. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, it might be the case that young people could find it more difficult to just gain access to opportunities than maybe we had. At the same time, I think they have the tools to learn and the tools to really make an impact much faster than we did with
Yeah.
all of this. With all this, that you could build an amazing application and put it in your portfolio in one weekend.
Yeah.
And when I started, I was working for 2 months in the same project.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a mixture of opportunities. There are opportunities
Yeah.
lost, but there are a lot of opportunities that you're gaining at the same time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same. I mean, I think it'd be hard for me to say something that didn't sound tone deaf, but definitely, I feel like the next generation has. I'm sure there's a lot of challenges,
Yeah.
but I think there's a lot of uh, places where the entry is easier, right? Like, and it's been becoming easier, right? Like, first it was punch cards and assembly, and you could only be able to program if you were close to one of those big centers, and you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
then it became like C++, Python. So it's just become more, and I feel like when you lower the bar on syntax, you can get more intuition on it.
Yeah.
And I feel like this rewards vibe coding. I mean, some people like it, some people don't, but I feel like it gives rise to developing the intuition more than the syntax. To me, the syntax is not the thing.
That's right.
You know what
That
I mean?
makes
It's great people, and I'm biased because I'm bad for that.
Yeah.
but definitely, I feel like every technology like brings some challenges and
Absolutely.
and remove some roadblocks. So my hope is that we continue in that, and that the skills
Yeah.
that next generation will have is completely different than the ones we have, which are different from the ones grandpa had.
Yeah.
You know,
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me think that maybe instead of hiring coders, what you end up doing is hiring problem solvers, right? People that
Exactly.
are just
That's a good one.
really skilled
Yeah.
at solving problems, and
Exactly.
coding is just a piece of that. But as long as
Yeah.
like Miguel, what you're saying in terms of the mentality of how to code, how to break things down into small problems,
Yeah.
you can do it that way, right? So you're hired as a problem
Yeah.
solver, and maybe that's the new job in the AI.
Problem
Probably.
solver. Yeah. Being able to take real problems and turn them into like AI problems and stuff like that. Having that mindset, I think,
Yeah.
is the
I
skill
think
that's
it's becoming more and more
needed.
interesting to gain something like
Yeah.
that, because right now
Yeah.
it's more important to know how to take your idea and like decompose your idea into multiple components and being able to think, okay, but I'm trying to solve this use case. It might be
Mhm.
like $1 million use case or something that impacts your daily life. Okay, I want to automate
Yeah.
my emails, for example, and connect a
Yeah.
Telegram bot that is able to send me only the interesting emails or only
Yeah.
emails about
Yeah.
video games that I love for the Nintendo Switch. So yeah,
Exactly.
something like that, and just trying to implement it and being able to understand, okay, should I use an LLM? Should I use a traditional machine learning system? Should I add
Yeah.
a database?
Yeah.
Should it be batch or streaming, etc.? So I think that's
Those
still,
kind of decisions, right?
yeah,
Not how to code it, but those kind of decisions. And,
those
oh,
kind
it's
of
kind of slow.
decisions.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
just a problem. Oh, it's
yeah,
not very good. The problem is I need to add this.
Yeah.
So like basically going on a high level sort of building blocks. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Well, great. Yeah, I see a lot of questions, and I kind of want to. This is a good segue because I want to get into questions of adoption.
Yeah.
Right. There's one here actually. It says, "Is what about the tools for no programming background, like N8N or something like that?"
As someone from no programming background, can I still no code, like use no code, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
N8N. Have you worked on that
absolutely.
one? I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've worked with it in some projects. Of course, you can use no coding tools, and of course, it could work in production. I'm not sure, like if you want to scale something like a really custom solution to millions of different users, how it's going to work. But yeah, of course, you could use that. Of course, since I'm on Zapier, I would recommend you to go for Zapier instead of N8N. But yeah. I mean,
Okay.
both.
Zapier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zapier.
Great.
Both work.
Zapier.
Both work really, really well as no coding solutions.
Can you tell
But
us about
Okay, so
Zapier?
definitely tell us
Set.
about Zapier.
It's with Set.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Set
Okay,
AP
sorry.
Oh, Zed. Okay, Zapier.
So yeah, Zapier is
Thank
the
you.
automation company
Zapier.
that it's also a no code company that is able to, which you basically take all the things that you want to automate based on steps and different triggers, and you are able to automate potentially like everything. They have more than 10,000 connections to Instagram, Facebook, to whatever application you can think of. Is already like all the connections are already implemented in Zapier. So if you are
Okay.
looking for a no code solution, is really cool.
Cool.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so everybody check out Zapier for node code solutions to agents. That's the way to get into it. Okay, we have a question by Vavisha, who we met in Bangalore. It says, what do you guys think of MCP and the security issues associated with it?
Yeah, so I mean, MCP, I think it's a wonderful idea. Just to give some context, MCP is the Model Context Protocol, and it's a standardized protocol released by Anthropic that allows you to connect your LLMs to tools, but not in a random manner with a standard protocol.
Mhm.
So that's basically MCP. I think NCP is really great in terms of the idea. One thing that I don't like is that people started building MCP servers like crazy without the need. So you see a lot of different companies building MCP servers like, hey guys, you can use our tools with your LMs, but there are no need to use their tools. So it's like, why did you invest so much money into making MCP and NCP servers? But I think the idea is really cool. About the security issues, I think that's a very, very good point. And I think that many of the MCP servers that are being released nowadays are not taking into consideration the huge amount of security leakage and security, like all the potential for damage that these systems provide, because you are offering access to your databases, you're offering access to your data. And many teams are based with, are formed with ML engineers, AI engineers, which sometimes we lack some general understanding of cybersecurity issues, etc. So I think that's a very, very good point, and I think that many people are trying to improve the security level.
Great questions. We have so many great technical questions, but we have 10 minutes. So I actually want to pivot, and this is for Miguel and for Josh, into the questions that are more of like, how did you get into AI. So yeah, apologies if there's a couple we can't answer. But also for anybody in the crowd, if we didn't answer your question, feel free to throw it again, because I'm not a great RAG system. I don't have a very good vector database in my head. But let's go for this one. I see I'm a beginner, fresher. Give me a path to get a job in applied AI. What are current skills? Python, etc. There's a there's a few questions like, I'm a web development. How do I transition into the field of machine learning? How to get a job in applied AI? So I think if maybe I'd love to have input from the two of you. Like, how do you get into ML? What is the what are your advice for anybody who's interested?
Go ahead, Josh. You can
How
start.
about Josh? We've been grilling Miguel so much.
That's right.
This should be called This should be called grilling the guest.
Exactly.
By Josh and Lewis.
So I guess what we were talking about earlier, is we can bring that back up, is think about try to conceptualize a career in terms of as a problem solver, right? I think the tools for solving problems will become more elaborate and more sophisticated, and the goal is to be that problem solver, to get hired as that person. And I think one of the skills that's going to require is also talking about what Miguel was saying earlier, is developing the skill of learning how to break problems down into small pieces. And you can apparently you can do that in many ways. Back when in the Stone Age, we would write object-oriented programs, and you'd write a little class to solve each little bit of the thing, and you'd tie it all together, and it'd be very abstract, and I'd forget what half the modules could do, and it was always very complicated. But now you can break it down into like an agentic workflow, and even a semi-autonomous agentic workflow, which I'm learning about, and maybe an autonomous one. And so I would think about, like, I would start playing with those things, right? Get in while you can. And just like what Lewis was saying is start with play, right? You don't have to be the serious hardcore dude, just with the goal of like, can I have some fun with this, right? And if you can have some fun with it, then that's a good indication that you're maybe in the right track. If it's just like the worst thing ever and you're suffering and you're not having any fun at all, maybe there's another role for a different type of problem solver out there for you. Anyways, those are just some thoughts.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that, Josh. I mean, I also think that at least from my perspective, from my experience, whenever I try to learn something, I don't think about, okay, I want to learn about agentic RAG. I just think about the problem that I'd like to solve, or even something funny that I would like to build. Like, for example, the problem with the philosophers arise because I was thinking it would be really cool to like merge video games interfaces with agents and see how it evolves. And that's basically it. I mean, and I started thinking, how can I achieve this with like actual technology? Okay, I could use agents, I could use agentic RAG, but I didn't know a thing about agentic RAG when I started like building all of this. And I would suggest the audience to do the same. I mean, it could be something really, really simple. Maybe you want to forecast. You like surf, like surfing in the beach, and you just want to do some forecast about the weather and wind in the beach near you, and that's it. And you could implement something really simple at the beginning in a Jupyter notebook, and then you're like, okay, this works really well. Let's try to deploy it to Amazon and build something that people could actually use. And then you see that many people use it, and it's like, okay, what if I add some video streaming with a camera in the beach, and I can even predict the size of the wave? So I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, but just thinking projects that you really love, projects that you that resonate with you, and try to build them. That's how you learn. That's how you learn.
Yeah,
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Totally agree.
I have a hard end at in about 5 minutes or
No
6
problem.
minutes.
Yeah.
And so the question I have, Louis, is for you. We have some like rapid fire questions
Rapid
for
fire.
Miguel.
Okay.
And I know they're supposed to be rapid fire, but some of them I kind of want to get in depth with. So
You can also elaborate if you want.
can we start on those rapid fire questions?
Let me start with the emotional to set up the emotions. You're from Spain, so Real Madrid or Barcelona?
I have no doubt. Real Madrid forever.
Real Madrid,
Forever.
Nice.
And let's win the Clásico. Let's win the Clásico this weekend. Yeah, 100%.
Let's get that Clásico, of course. Yeah. Great.
Can you explain?
El Clásico.
That's
The
not
Clásico. It's
or just explain your preference.
Okay.
It
was because
that's inside you.
My father was from. He is a Real Madrid supporter.
Okay.
And since the very beginning, I went to the bars to watch Real Madrid. So that's the explanation. Yeah.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's good. I have a Real Madrid. I'm also more of a Real Madrid fan, and I think it's because in my high school, all the kids, it was the years that Barcelona was winning a lot, and they all felt Catalan. I'm from Colombia, and they all felt Catalan, and I just want to tell them, you're not from there, okay? You can be a fan, but don't talk like you're a passionate fan. And so that didn't register, so I started just being a fan of Real Madrid to get them angry, and then and then once it starts with the brain, and then you get into it, and then you can't get out
it's
of
emotional.
it, right? Like once it becomes emotional,
it's impossible.
So, funny. Okay, cool. So that was the first one.
Yeah. So the second one is, what's your favorite LLM?
That's a tricky one. So I would say that for daily tasks like asking or rephrasing something, etc., I would say that I go with ChatGPT because I'm a lazy guy, and that's the one that I started working with, and I was like, okay, let's keep doing it with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
If I want to build some custom projects, etc., I'm also a big fan of Grok with Q. Which allows you to interact with Llama models and Mistral and other different LLMs. But I would say ChatGPT and probably Grok.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, great. Favorite Spanish food? I go for these if you go for the technical ones.
Yeah, so I would say, this is so typical, so cliche that it seems like I'm not Spanish, but Spanish omelette.
Okay. Yeah.
The tortilla. The tortilla.
Tortilla.
That's amazing.
Tortilla
patata.
Tortilla patata.
So we call it tortilla español. What do you call it in Spain?
Tortilla de patata. There's a lot of debate.
They just call it tortilla.
There's a lot of debate because some people think that Spanish omelette should include onions, and other people say that it shouldn't. So there's a very violent debate in Spain.
Is that regional or is it just mixed?
No. It's like people in Spain belong to two different groups. The ones that think that Spanish omelette should include onions, I'm in that group. Okay. And the ones who don't, which I despise, and I don't like to be.
Okay.
Are they all Barcelona fans?
Is it
Barcelona
does it
fans?
Correlate?
They are Barcelona.
Correlate with Madrid? They're Barcelona. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool.
So I think we talked about this a little bit, but just to recap, a favorite agentic framework.
I would say Landgraph.
Okay, Landgraph
is my pick. Yeah.
And you like it because
it provides me a good trade-off between being a framework in which I don't have to program everything myself, and at the same time flexibility, which is cool when you want to build something more complex, more custom.
Yeah, cool. Very cool.
All right. Favorite book, and it doesn't have to be an AI book. It can be
The Lord of the Rings, no doubts.
It's one of my favorites too. I can't resist it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Somebody put the pineapple on pizza of Spain. That's the onions. that's the debate. That's the debate between.
Yeah. We have this is do you another technical question? I guess I'm the technical question.
He's the technical. I'm the fun one.
Technical guy.
I'm the bad cop.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So favorite vector database.
I would say Quadrant. I would say the Quadrant vector database. That's probably my first one because I've used it in production environments, and and the results are really, really good. It scales really good. The latencies are top of the game. So yeah, I would say Quadrant.
Fantastic. I think we got time for one last question, Louis. You got one?
I don't have a technical question. What's your favorite movie?
It's going to be just the same. The Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
Okay. Perfect.
What's your favorite audiobook?
Cool.
Lord of the Rings.
The Lord of the Rings.
Excellent. Cool. Well, there's thank you, Miguel, for joining us.
Thanks a lot, guys.
It's a pleasure to have you. I want to go and ask you more questions, so we should do another.
We'll have to do
another live stream.
Yeah.
Miguel, thank you everybody here for all the questions. Apologies we didn't get to everything, but there was so much nice, great questions. I try to answer a few on the text.
Yeah.
Yes. So wonderful to have you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much. Yeah.
Gracias. Thank you very much.
Gracias.
And you have a song, Josh?
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Thank you for joining us, Miguel. You're a great friend that we met in India and we get to hang out with again. Hooray!
Yeah, hooray.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.